received some comments on my last two videos, which were responses to the Vegan Gains Superhuman Dance debate. I thought I might get some negative comments from vegans, but the two I got surprisingly came from Antinatalists. I got a video response from Seb, Mr. Antinatalist person. I thought that I would just make a comment under his video and be done with it, but it looks like he deleted it, so now I have to make this video on the first day of the work week to defend myself. Firstly, a slight grammar correction for him. I know the English is not his first language, but the name of his video is Pleasure Exists. It should actually be called either Pleasures Exist or Pleasure Exists. In the description box he says, "I enjoy watching Life Sucks videos as they are filled with good arguments, but this is something he gets wrong." First of all, most of the arguments on my channel are not my own. They are mostly based on those of David Benatar and Inmendham. I just try to take the best ones and make them simple to understand. And so it is with this argument that Seb is attacking. It's a negative utilitarian argument that Inmendham has used many times. All I did was add a visual to it incorporating Sam Harris's thought experiment of a moral landscape. So let's see what Seb's complaint is all about. It's not that sexual satisfaction is suffering avoidance. It's the sexual urge that is suffering, and a need that needs to be satisfied. That's all pleasure is. It's like going to the bathroom and relieving yourself of your body's waste products. It feels good because that need has been met for the time being. Same with eating or any of these biological needs. This is what pleasure.
Well, here you can see the places in the brain where pleasure is created. So if pleasure was an illusion and just absence of pain, then why would this place exist? Wouldn't it make more sense that there's was less brain activity in the parts of the brain that creates pain?
Where did I say that pleasure does not exist? I do like that he quotes me verbatim in his video, making it clear that I never said that which he is claiming I said. So he's strawmanning me to make his point. How could I even be talking about the nature of pleasure if I didn't think it was real? I showed Benatar's axiological asymmetry right at the beginning of the video, which puts pain and pleasure into categories. Why would I use that chart if I didn't think pleasure existed? Like, you won't find me talking about the properties of Yahweh on this channel because Yahweh does not exist. The whole point of this part of the video was examining what's behind this feeling of pleasure. What makes a sensation pleasurable in the first place, and why do pleasurable feelings exist? I think that Seb either completely misunderstood or he's strawmanning me on purpose. You occasionally feel satisfied, like after eating a tasty vegan meal, but within moments that starts to go away and hunger returns. Or you would love to keep eating, but you're either out of food, or you're burdened by the knowledge that too much food will make you fat and unhealthy. You just can't win at this life game.
So you have to prove that it is a direct correlation between these two things. For example, what if someone made the claim that there is less French public execution because of less wildlife animals? There is no direct correlation between these things. We can see there is a simultaneous decline in wildlife animals and less public execution of French people. But that doesn't prove that it is a cause and effect relationship. And that is what you have to prove here, that it is a cause and effect relationship. And these kind of arguments has to be proven with neurology. You can't make the claim with some philosophy without having backed up science.
So then he quotes me verbatim again, where I say that all of the pleasure comes from deprivation. I said nothing, absolutely nothing about the reward centers of the brain not existing. Food, water, sex, etc. activate the reward system and release dopamine. Where did I deny this, Seb? As Inmendham refers to it, it's the whip and the carrot. The dopamine hit you get from eating is the carrot. The deprivation of hunger is the whip. As I mentioned in the deleted comment under his video, a heroin addict doesn't shoot up because he feels great at a normal baseline. There is a need present. Pleasure serves the need. If there were no need, then there would be no need for pleasure. I thought that Seb was an ethicist. He should understand this by now. So then Seb claims that I need to offer proof that pleasure and pain are directly related to each other. I thought I just did that. Your brain generates good feelings and bad feelings. The bad feelings are the primary motivator. Yes, good feelings and rewards like dopamine motivate as well, but those rewards are given to us only when we are in a deprivated state. Like with the heroin example, if a junkie was not in pain, he would not have any motivation to shoot up. Obese people eat when they are not hungry. Well, why is that? It's because they are either bored or depressed. I think he's accusing me of the false equivalence fallacy, taking two things that are not related, like public guillotining in the French Revolution and the extinction of wildlife species. It's a strange example to use, but anyways, he's saying that there is no cause and effect relationship between pleasure and pain. And I don't know how he could say something so fucking stupid. Then why does Wikipedia have an entry that includes both together? Our whole philosophy of utilitarianism is based on this principle, that pain and pleasure are part of a continuum. Since Seb failed to even define pleasure in his video, I'll take the definition from Wikipedia. Pleasure can be considered from many different perspectives, from physiological, such as the hedonic hotspots that are activated during an experience, to psychological, such as the study of behavioral responses towards reward. Pleasure has also been compared to, or even defined by many neuroscientists, as a form of alleviation of pain. I'll put a link to some papers in the description box for you to read about the science behind pleasure. I noticed that Seb left me no links or references in his video. These kinds of documents are important if you're going to accuse someone of being wrong about the facts. My mother underwent brain surgery when I was just a kid, and I take her to all of her neurology appointments, so I am familiar with neuroscience and find it a bit offensive that Seb would make a video claiming that I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with reward and pleasure. Parkinson's disease destroys the dopamine-producing cells in the brain that also happen to control movement. So the reason why Parkinson's sufferers have tremors and impaired movement is because the dopamine that prompts us to initiate movement isn't there anymore. This shows that dopamine does more than just reward. It literally moves us. That is why levodopa, the main drug that treats the disease, boosts dopamine levels. We need the carrot just to move our arms and legs correctly. My point of this is, I know what pleasure is, how it works, and why it works, so I do not accept your criticism. I also had a brother who was a heroin addict, and I myself used to be addicted to Prozac, which is a serotonin reuptake inhibitor. I think I probably put more time and understanding into dopamine and other neurotransmitters than you. You also did not link my video in the description box, which you should be doing when making reply videos. Not doing that and deleting comments is just throwing shade. I don't know why he is doing this now. I've been presenting the same argument on YouTube for over a year. Seb also made a strange comment under my video where he seems to be defending transhumanism. He said, quote, "David Pierce does not view being born as good," end quote. So again, Mr. Antinatalist person is basing a straw man argument on a false premise, because I never said anything like that in my video. Transhumanists and antinatalists can both be negative utilitarian, but there is a substantial difference in that transhumanists have an insane belief that pain and suffering can be cured with Star Trek technology. Needless to say, this tech does not even exist and may never exist. And without ever experiencing suffering, how in the fuck would someone be able to recognize pleasure? To me, this is a problem that transhumanism cannot solve, and it makes their position illogical. David Pierce has said that he believes procreation would be ethical if the person coming into existence were modified to only experience pleasure. So needs can be met without any needs? It makes no sense. Transhumanism is bullshit. It's not the same position as antinatalism, it's natalism. If you want to be into David Pierce, fine, but don't call yourself an antinatalist. Then Louis Burke made a stupid comment under my first video about the debate saying, quote, "Ethics isn't science. Sounds like scientism, dude," end quote. Dude, scientism is when you apply the scientific method where it isn't required to something like subjective, like art criticism. Or it's sometimes used as a negative term for people who use science as ideological dogma. So that's what Louis is accusing me of because I said that ethics is a science. I don't think that's a valid criticism either. Since this was under my video, my reply can't be deleted thankfully, so I can read it to you. I said to him, "Ethics can be viewed as a moral code of value, yes, or it can be viewed as the science that discovers that value. For example, the ethics of procreation is based in part upon the scientific theory of evolution by natural selection. Science and the scientific method did originally come out of philosophy, so the two have always been intertwined. Does ethics rely on scientific knowledge or not? I thought I made it clear in this channel that I'm a utilitarian, and utilitarians are known for thinking about ethics as a science. If you don't like it, then find some Christians or Kantians to follow, motherfucker. It's embarrassing that when you Google ethics as a science, you realize that most scientists out there are just as nuts as religious kooks. They think that ethics and morality are the same thing, and that they're both subjective. That's incorrect. Morality is subjective, ethics is objective. Causing harm to someone else unnecessarily when there is no greater good that is being served is objectively unethical, and it should be prevented. That statement is based upon our scientifically gained knowledge of pleasure and pain. So fuck you, please, and thank you.